Hey everyone, welcome to this video. In this one, I'm going to have a look at the digital version of Kodak's Vision3 250D film. So this is a Fuji film recipe that I got from the Fuji X Weekly website. I'll put the recipe up either on the screen or down in the description so that you can have a look at yourself if you're interested. And what I'll do with this one is my usual sort of recent way of doing it, where I try and emulate like as if it's a film, so that I'll shoot either 24 photos or 36. And this time I've decided to do 36, and I'll have a chat about the photos so that you can see why I took them, how I took them, and I'll also critique them. So I like to go through my photos to make sure that I can see the mistakes and try and improve next time. So yeah, this Kodak Vision3 250D is originally was designed for the motion. It's a motion picture film, and it was designed so that cinematographers can move fast on set and not worry so much about exposure. This film originally has, in the film world, not the digital, has an exposure compensation of up to 5, plus or minus 5. So it allowed the post-production to take care of a lot of the exposure if it wasn't quite right on the set, which is pretty cool. So yeah, it's got this extreme performance, unlike many other films. So obviously in the digital version, it's a little bit different. The recipe calls for, I think it was exposure compensation of 1/3 to 2/3 to get the exposure right. Some of the photos I forgot to do that on, so some of them were a little bit dark and not correctly exposed. So I've put them into Lightroom and they are basically straight out of camera other than composition, so cropping a little bit and some of the exposure. And with the exposure, I didn't muck around with any of the like highlights or shadows. I just moved the exposure slider so that it's as if it was right in camera. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't any excess manipulation. So they are like out of camera, except the ones that I slightly overexposed or underexposed. And I will flip the camera around now and show you the photos, and I'll just voice over those so that you can see my thoughts. And yeah, let me know your favorite photo in the comments and if you like these sort of chats, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. All right, so here's our first picture. This one is taken out of a car. I just like that the road sort of leads to somewhere, nowhere, makes your mind wander a little bit. I think I overexposed the sky here. There's not much detail up there. It is an overcast day, and the theme of this digital roll of film is sort of rainy kind of times. We've had a lot of rain here in Sydney over the last number of weeks now, and it's been a bit challenging to take photos. There are a couple there where it was a bit of a sunnier day. So there's a mix of different days on this slideshow. But yeah, that's the first one. Nothing super impressive, but nevertheless, you can see some of the greens and yellows and how they come out on this film simulation. This is another one from the car. I really like this one. I probably was just a tiny little bit late if that truck was slightly back, but I love the aqua on it. And just, you could see, you know, the rain on the road, and just the mood of the photo is a little bit, you know, rainy vibe. As you probably know from my other slideshows, I really like petrol stations, or is it gas stations in America? I can't remember how you say them. Yeah, so you will see a few pictures of these along my slideshows, just because I just love the colors, and at night the lights are really cool at petrol stations as well. So unfortunately I cut the sign off there, the food sign, but yeah, I like the way the car and just the reds. Probably the bins ideally could be removed or photoshopped out or something, but I pretty much try and avoid doing photoshopping other than number plates and things like that. Yeah, again, the sky's a little bit blown out, and shooting through a window, you're not getting a crisper image as you would without the window. But I do sometimes like the way it gives that, you know, hazy look. So yeah, that's that one. Here I'm trying something a little bit different. Just aiming the camera to the back window. So I'm shooting, you know, a frame in a frame, but I didn't have my shutter speed right here, I don't think. Yeah, plus the car, it's really tricky to take a picture while the car that you're in is also moving, because you've got two objects moving. So this is shot at 1/600th, but at f2, so it wasn't the ideal settings. You can see that I didn't quite capture the stillness there, but I like the idea of the composition. This was just, I think we stopped at some lights and there was a house. I just like the way it looked, the little driveway, and the colors looked really nice. So nothing major happening here, just a little house. But yeah, I just like the look of it. I guess the driveway on the left, composition wise, probably shouldn't be there. This roll I shot at the 3:2 ratio, which normally lately I've been shooting at 16:9. So to make it look a little bit more filmic, as in like film, like television. But I didn't do it for this one, which is probably the one I should have done it for, because this is like a motion picture film stock traditionally. So anyway, cropping after shooting is a little bit tricky, going from 3:2 to 16:9, because you're just, I don't know, your eye has framed it for 3:2 and not 16:9. So when you're cutting a lot of the top and bottom off, you lose some of the context. So I normally, if I want to put them up in 16:9, I shoot them in camera at 16:9. And that's the great thing about that Fuji X-T4. You can shoot 1:1 ratio, so square. You can shoot 3:2, 16:9, and there may be one other, I can't remember. They're the main ones I use. This one here, back to the petrol station, gas station. Really like the greens in this against the blue and the oranges. It sort of got those big three colors that usually live in nature. I don't know. Yeah, I just like this picture. I don't know. There's nothing special about it, but the colors and just the light and yeah, some leading lines there, but they're not leading too much. I guess they're going from right to left. You could say they're leading to the sign, but I like the lights, just the structure. It's sort of like geometrical as well. This is just a little shop that we drove past called Society Hair Design. I actually really like the name, and I like the plants there that they have. Way too cropped in. I'm shooting here on the 18-55 kit lens, and I'm at 55, which was a mistake. This should be zoomed right out so that we can see a little bit more of what is going on. That bench actually would look really good on the right there. Probably slightly overexposed again. I just, yeah, like the sort of idea of this picture, but because we were driving, again, I should have zoomed out, and you've got to make a lot of quick decisions when the car is moving. And I just wasn't quick enough here. So I might try and reshoot this one day. A little bit of reflection there in the window I was trying to get so you can see another car there, which is cool. But that composition probably let me down on this one. Yet another petrol station, sort of a road shot here. I cut off the car on the right there, so not too happy, but mainly just going for the colors here. I just wanted to see what this film simulation is like with all the different colors together. So here we got bit of the blues and reds, greens together. I really like, yeah, really like this film simulation. It's so, I don't know, vintagey, retro-y, filmic. Not sure what we call it, but it's just nice. This one again going for the colors, and I guess I like the theme of this, where you've got sort of the bottle shop where you can get the drinks, then next door is sort of where you sit, where you could potentially sit and have it type thing, and then you've got the bin at the front which recycles the whole bottle. So it's like you know, like a circle of life or whatever you call it, where you buy, consume, throw out. Again, it's a picture done out of a car, so not sharp enough at 1/90th of a second by far. But yeah, really nice. The yellows there on the sign on the it's Winona, I think it's called, the bottle shop. This one, I just love the way these windows are so, you know, symmetrical one after another, and the planter boxes. But yeah, again, I didn't quite get the shutter speed right on this, and composition, it probably could have been zoomed out. I shot this one at around 30mm on the kit lens. This is the shot of the day for me. I love the way this turned out. I just love the colors, and I think it really shows off the film stock and what it's really like. Just it's got that sort of vintagey look to it. Love the car, and yeah, just the colors are so nice. This one, another on the road picture, just unusual sort of truck, and you've got the crane in the background, and yeah, but there's nothing on the truck either. So yeah, nice colors again. Busy moving shot, and I sort of like the blurriness in the bottom there. I think I had something in the window frame. I actually do like that type of photography where it's not crispy clear and everything is perfect. I do like it to be sort of a little bit mysterious at times. This one's just at an intersection, but I love this wall. I just mainly shot to show you this amazing plant wall. Like it's just so cool. It's like a car park where people can park their car and then jump onto the bus, which is that yellow bit on the left side that I didn't include in the frame, sadly, to show it off. But you could see the little bikes there. So people basically drive here to commute and jump onto a bus into the city. But they've made the car park into this like living wall, which is just amazing. It's so cool, and just, I don't know, I always wonder, how do they get it so green, and how is it watered? And it's, yeah, just nature. I love plants, and I love plants in the vertical sense. So, you know, things hanging, and it just looks really, really nice. It's nice to see something like that on a busy road, you know, in a city environment. Nature coming back in. Again, another sort of plant wall. And as I mentioned, I like the sort of hanging. So this has got that wall is sort of covered in this hanging plant. Not the best shot by far. Composition's terrible. Should have shot it more to the right, obviously. We're missing a little bit of the building there. And I probably would have got some reflections in the window if I went more to the right. But yeah, with the car shots, it's tricky. Still trying to sort of work out. You have to kind of pre-envision, you know, what's going to happen in the next second or two, because it's so fast. This one here I just shot to show you how the purple looks, but it's out of a car, so you've got that haze through the window. But yeah, purple's come up quite nicely. These flowers are out at the moment, and it doesn't quite depict, this film is a little bit muted, so it doesn't quite depict the color, but these purple flowers are just, they're so bright, it's almost hard to believe it's like a color in nature. It's almost like paint, you know. But yeah, it's just a little snap of the purple color and how it renders on this simulation. Just a little plant there. I think this was one of the first few shots on my walk that I did when it was a little bit sunnier. Didn't really nail the focus here or anything. Like I said, this whole roll is not ideal. Just started to work on the next video, which is be the same film stock but much nicer pictures. So make sure you watch that next once it goes up in the next few days. Yeah, this one I was really happy with, but I probably should have exposed more for the car there coming out. I concentrated on getting this frame. I thought, oh, this is cool. You know, as a beginner, you're like, wow, this is like got, you know, repetition and leading lines and, you know, parallel lines and all this. And then the car started coming out. This is just like a little car park. And I thought, oh my God, this is going to look so cool. But in my rush, I didn't quite nail it. So I was going to try and correct it in post, but I just tried to keep these photos, as I said at the beginning, just sorting out the exposure and cropping rather than manipulating any of the colors. So, But yeah, there's a little car coming out there, which I wanted to highlight a little bit more. Next shot here is just looking from the other side. I found these little, of that last shot, found these little plant that was really pretty. And just showing off the little bokeh-y sort of look at the back. This is at 23mm on that kit lens. No, it's not. That's, no, I switched lenses here. This is on the 23mm at f2. Same place again, just going up further. There was some trolleys there. I thought this would be a really cool way of seeing the red against the browns there with a little bit of green. By the way, these are our trolleys in Sydney, Australia, in one of our big major shops. So I don't know if they look the same around the world. This one, I really like the way this bus stop looked, and I just tried to wait for a car. I took a few different cars. I had a red car and a vintagey car, but none of them quite stopped it right at the right place. I ideally would have liked this car maybe to be a little bit further back, but it turned out okay. Just a bike along the bike path, nothing special, just sort of showing what this film stock looks like a little bit wider on the road. Again, I blew out the sky there, so not a perfect example of what it would look like, but I like sort of the whites, the browns, the blacks, the sort of neutral colors look really nice on this film stock, I think. Bit of yellow and green there. And this is just a boring picture of the bins, but I thought it shows the colors, like a lot of the primary colors together. So just a shot of that. And yeah, this is what our bins look like in Sydney. And we've got the red one is just your rubbish bin. The right one with the yellow is the sort of plastic bin, you know, for your plastics. The blue one is for the paper. And then I don't know what these orange ones are. There's some extras. I think this was like a little shop. So the red crate at the corner there is, I think, for the bread. And then the orange ones are for the milk. They must recycle. The company takes them probably. This is like a sort of little nature reserve near near the harbour, near the water. And yeah, just having a look at what it looks like with a lot of the greens around. And another shot here of the park. The greens are quite pretty, I think. The browns, yeah, again, the neutrals sort of look really nice. It's a bit of like yellowness to them. And back to the water, there's just been a lot of grey skies, so hard to sort of shoot sunny scenes, but this is what it looks like. I think it's quite nice, sort of mellow look. And again, from a different angle. And then we drove up near the heads. So these are the heads of the Sydney Harbour. So where I'm on the side that I'm taking the shot off is the north side, and the other side is your southern side. So Vaucluse, Watsons Bay, Rose Bay side. And then the ferry was passing the heads. So when you get the ferry from the city to Manly, to the North Head side, the ferry needs to pass the heads. So sometimes when it's really rough, they won't run the ferry and you need to get on a bus instead, because the waters get quite choppy where the ocean sort of meets the harbour. And that tiny little boat in there is known as the Manly Ferry. There's a couple of them that run through they're quite big, take quite a lot of people. And this is like a nursery shot. I just like the way it sort of looks very Australian. You know, you've got the sort of rocks and trees, and it's a very Australian sort of scene. Just a power line here, just seeing what the sky looks like in this film simulation. And I actually liked the way this shot turned out. I thought I got the composition sort of right. I've got leading lines and rule of thirds. Yeah, as a beginner, you get excited about these small little things. It's very difficult to get all the compositions and all the elements and principles of design right in one single photo. So I plan actually in the future to maybe go out and shoot a roll of digital just doing leading lines, or just doing, you know, rule of thirds and practicing that one principle. rather than trying to get them all right at once. And another petrol station. I love the colors in this one. The sky's again blown out, but I've learnt my mistake here. So next time I'll try and focus on making sure that the brights in my pictures are preserved, because there's not much you can do once they're blown out. Yeah, loving the blue and the reds here, just so retro-y looking. Just more greens here and neutrals. Yeah, really liking that, as I said before. And the window wiper, I think, went up, so that's why you can see that sort of smear across the frame. But I quite like that. Like I said before, I don't like my images to look perfect and, you know, digital sort of smartphone looking. I like them to be a bit more mysterious and, you know, almost like with mistakes is kind of better in my eye than without. This picture here probably needs an explanation because I shot it too close. This time I am using, on this little trip, I took the 80mm f2.8. It's a macro lens, but you can shoot non-macro with it. And we spotted this fence. This bottom bit is actually a fence, which is a really weird fence. I've never seen a fence like this before. And there's tiny little droplets of the rain hanging off it. So I didn't get sort of perfect focus here, but the idea was there. And I think it came out all right. I tried to sort of shoot it in the bottom third and focus on it with the tree a little bit, you know, blurred out at the 2.8 aperture. But theme of the roll, as we've said, is that I've blown out the sky again. So yeah, tricky with this. I mean, I guess on the original film, like I said earlier in the introduction, you had quite a big latitude of being able to move exposure after production, but I tried to make these out of camera, so a little bit trickier if you're not changing exposure in post-production. I probably could have adjusted this, but if I didn't blow out the sky in the first place, but I've left it as shot. Last few pictures, just some surfboards at a surf store. Going here mainly for the colors, but the composition turned out all right. There's a lot of lines and repetition. I quite like it. And we get to really see all the different colors together, which I love about this shot. Ideally, probably would have shot it a little bit wider than 80, but that's the way it turned out. Just a reflection shot of a hotel there, some of the signs, etc. I like the colors in this. It's sort of like a chill photo. And last one, 36. Love the red in this and the mistiness of the rain. Don't like that I cut the sign off with the pole, but yeah, again, it was a driving shot, so definitely could reshoot this. And you've probably seen it before on my pictures somewhere, this shot. I just love the red in it, the glow of it. Yeah, so that brings us to the last photo and the end of this digital roll of 36. Definitely not my favorite slideshow, probably one of my worst ones if I were to say, but I like to sort of keep it real and bring you things that I don't like either and that I haven't shot well, so that I can learn from them and you can hear my, you know, chatting behind the scenes. And yeah, sometimes it's good to look at bad things because you can improve on them and learn from them. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Let me know if you like these commentary style videos. And yeah, let me know if you've got any ideas of what I should take pictures of or make videos about. And I will see you in the next video. As I said, the next one will be, again, this Kodak Vision3, but some better shots, hopefully. They were outside on a sunnier day. So yeah, I'll chat to you in that one. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye.